Hi, good evening. This is Sahava again. I'm making this video for the benefit of those who, for some reason, was either surprised, shocked, or even troubled by my decision from transitioning from the male gender to the female gender. And I hope and invite you also at the same time to spend a little of your time so that you would be able to enter into my world, so to speak, and allow yourselves to understand and appreciate the reasons behind my transition. So basically, for those who know me, this matter is something not a surprise because I've been, especially those who were with me when I was growing up, my family, my schoolmates in high school and in college, I've always been on the feminine side. And as I was growing up, this was very evident. And this was very, very evident during my high school and college days. So those who've encountered in those days would not be that surprised. But there are those who I met after I've actually um, decided to conform. This was in 2001 when I've decided to conform and finally forgo this idea of being a woman and basically um, really abandoning it and trying to live my life according to my anatomy. However, that type of lifestyle was not very, very helpful for me. It did not uh, make me feel or make me welcome myself properly because I'm trying to. There's a lot of effort, lot of struggle, lot of uh, energy used to conform and to meet the expectations of people and on something that you know in your heart is not true. And that's basically uh, why perhaps it did not work. Uh, from 2000 to 2013, I suppose, 2001 to 2013, basically that was an effort on my part to conform. And though in the appearance I might be conforming very well, but internally there is difficulty and the dysphoria is there. It's manifesting in everything, in the way I actually um, relate to people, particularly of the male gender, the way I could express myself. It's like I'm in a box. I'm like in a cage. I couldn't be who I am. And basically it just boils and it hit a boiling point that the only natural result would be actually to really find the truth and to really live the truth. And that's basically what happened this year. I'm just only being true to myself. I'm just being true to who I am, who I was, is, and will be. And I'm making this video because I wanted you all to know why it took me so long. And that is the only questions I think that is relevant because for those who know me, this is something that is me already. It's just that they are asking me why only now. So I've divided that into three areas. One is on the personal side, the second one is on the societal side, and the third one is on the theological side. On the personal side, obviously, if you've lived uh, my age back then, 16, 15 years ago, this is the, the society is very, very different. It is not that welcoming, tolerant, at least to a certain level. And it drastically changed because of the different developments internationally and also locally. And if you are in my situation, the main focus of your existed is livelihood, and that's why it's in a personal aspect. Is the pressure to conform is there because you need to find work, you need to make a living, and in order for you to do that, you have to conform, and that is the main reason also. Um, and I was forced to conform in order to find work. And the second is the society, because obviously that is brought about by the demands of society, which expects someone with an anatomy of a male to act like a male. But that is not always true, and it wasn't true with me. And that's why uh, it was difficult on my part. Although I tried to conform for over 20, at least 20 years, but it takes a lot of energy, and it really, it's very difficult. And only those who are undergoing or had been through what I've been through would really appreciate uh, what I had gone through. And then the last one is the theological, which is the real stumbling block before, because I've also ascribed to the, because of the environment, I was forced to ascribe to such thinking, such mentality, and which hampered my understanding of who I am and how I should be. And therefore, this kept me from pursuing this. It only took an event in 2013 that changed everything. And even that event did not actually force me to, but only made me to rethink and to revisit the possibility of being who I am. And even after the event, I gave myself 5 years because I really wanted to make sure that I'm making the right decisions and I'm not doing this for the wrong reasons. I'm not doing this for the event in 2013, that because that would be very wrong as my understanding was. So I had to give myself 5 years, and exactly 5 years it's still there, that I basically still want to be who I am, and that's basically what I did only. As I reflected on this issue, I was caused to go back to the very start and see and remember how God created everything. And that is in the book of Genesis, and we find there that God created man and woman, and they were made in the likeness and image of God, which is perfect. However, in that same book, for some reason or another, Eve was tempted and Adam was persuaded by Eve to commit disobedience against God's instruction and will. And for that purpose and for that reason, the humanity, as we all know, suffered. And because the imperfections were introduced to humanity. And this imperfection may be manifested in so many ways, and they may be subtle, they may be evident, they may be apparent. And in so many ways, the bottom line is God did not create this imperfection. His creation was perfect. It was man's disobedience that created this imperfection. And and this is what was the main point of my reflection. And therefore, it is not God who made a mistake, because God made human beings perfect. It was their disobedience to his instructions, as narrated in the book of Genesis, that created all this dilemma and this problem. And my situation, my predicament, is but a manifestation of such an imperfection. It is similar to those who are born with congenital heart disease, with congenital organ failures or problems, with conjoined twins, deformities, and so on and so forth. Because if you would be saying and following the line of thinking of some people that just because you're created this way, you should remain this way, then you would be depriving people the right to a remedy or a solution to the problem, and which is more or less now available due to modern technology. And one beautiful example is the conjoined twins. You cannot say that God created that conjoined twins, and if you will follow the line of thinking of some people, that just because they were created by God in that way, they should remain that way, even though there is an available medical remedy to alleviate their suffering from their situation. So I hope that point is clear. It is not God who created or made a mistake, and therefore in altering or remedying or initiating some remedy or correction, it there is no usurpation of God's will or action. It is but like the intervention made by the doctors to alleviate the suffering of the conjoined twins. And if that is allowed and that is permitted, then why shouldn't that remedy be available to people like me? Because we're basically in the same category. We were born with some imperfections, and this imperfection is not of God's creation. It is of man, and therefore it is also by man's action that it should be able to be corrected. And therefore the line of thinking that you should remain in the manner by which you were born and deprive yourself of the available remedy is totally not, for me at least, from my understanding and from my point of view, is not what God wants. It is not God who created this imperfection. It was man who invited this to his descendants, and therefore to say and to tell someone that you cannot do or you cannot avail of such a remedy is something not according to what God wants. Thank you for watching. I hope through this video I have given you the opportunity to understand and appreciate people like me and the things that we go through, and so that you would be able to at least empathize, or even if not empathize, respect the decisions that people like me make, and understand that we too are also only humans, and we too also want to live our life peacefully, happy, and above all, in love. Thank you, and God bless you all.